My next guest is almost anyone you want him to be. He even imagines he does a mean impersonation of me. But he's more than a skilled impersonator. He's a satirist and comedian, a watchdog and ombudsman. Ladies and gentlemen, Rory Bremner. How wonderful to see you, all of you.
Thank you. I'm enjoying this too much.
Are you?
Sacha Distel, they used to throw knickers at him, didn't they?
They did.
David got a spare pair of Victorians back. I just want to sit and watch another hour with David and you. It's just going really well, isn't it? Yeah.
You've read the book, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had a little look. It's an amazing lifestyle, isn't it? Photo shoots and travel. And apparently he managed to play football as well. I don't know where you find the time, I really do.
This football manager thing, of course, which I didn't ask David about, but I meant to. Do you have any views on that? I mean, what about politicians becoming the well, manager of the England football team?
Well, I mean, firstly, who'd want the job? I mean, they had an FA committee or something saying all the qualities you need to obviously manage a football team, obviously, all the PR, speaking foreign languages. I think you have to be able to cook, change nappies, obviously. But I mean, politicians. I mean, I don't. I mean, these days, I think politicians can manage 2 eggs for breakfast, really. You saw the election of the Speaker last week.
Yeah, well, that was a shambles.
I mean, they took 7 hours. I mean, Ted Heath, they might as well have done it as blind date.
Right, I'm an 80-year-old bachelor with a sodding great yacht. If I asked you for a bearing, would you give me one? And I'll put that to number 3, please.
But it's become a bit of a fun. Anne Widdecombe would be good fun, isn't it?
Oh, she'd be
the aggressive one. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. It's rather frightening.
John Prescott, of course.
Oh, Prescott.
He's got the shape of a football manager.
Oh, he is a one-off, John Prescott. I heard a great story the other day. He was. If I fancy going to the opera, you ever been to the opera? It's great. So I fancy going to the opera. I'll go to that convent garden and have a look at the opera. And so he said, how do I get tickets? And this bloke said, well, it's very simple. You go to Covent Garden, you join the queue, and you listen to what the guy in front of you says, and take it from there. So he says, OK, I'll go down there, get in the car. Which Jaguar are you? Oh, I'll get down there anyway. So he goes there, and the guy in front of him in the queue says, hello, can I have 2 tickets, please, for Romeo and Juliet? Fine, it gets tickets, goes away. Now comes John Prescott and says, hello, can I have 2 tickets, please, for John and Pauline?
Lovely. Now, what about this government of ours? We've had these politicians now in charge for a while. There's going to be another election coming up next year, right? We've had time to look at them. What do we make of them?
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, in what I do is it's supposed to be satirical, and the trouble is you're trying to keep up with them all the time. We've just been finishing this film I've been doing for Channel 4, and halfway through the film we run out of petrol, and the whole sort of country runs out of petrol. And I was filming as William Hague and saying, a free can of unleaded petrol for anyone who cares to join the party. And all the Conservatives came out of the local village hall, and they all brandishing, and they all started to join around and cheer. And the more mad the suggestion was, the more they would sort of get behind it and say, yes, and so I suggest that when you see mothers carting around thermoses of unleaded petrol, children going without food, and they just loved it. So there's a sense in which we've actually gone beyond parody.
Beyond parody.
And what were we trying to do? I mean, there was sort of the talk of the government crisis during the summer, so we just thought we'd make a drama out of it. And,
which you've done in terms of an hour-long... Well, it's not a play, and nor is it a series of sketches, is it? It's a hybrid of the two. It's quite unusual.
Yeah, a little bit like Kind Hearts and Coronets. We try and get all the characters in. So there's Blair in there, Haig in there, Gordon Brown's in there, Peter Mandelson in there. Remember Peter Mandelson?
I do.
Very, very good chap. I know where you live, don't forget. And Robin Cook. We'll be very pleased to hear Mr. Cook makes an appearance. A very, very brief appearance. And Bill Clinton, of course, because we're not going to see much more of him.
No, we're not.
No, he's going, and I think there's going to be another Bush in the White House.
Are we...
so they're all in there.
Are we working on Mr. Clinton's successors? I mean...
Well, it's difficult. I mean, every American election, you look at them and you think, well, if God had wanted an election, he'd have given them a candidate. And it seems to happen time and time again. And, I mean, the George Bush thing. I mean, really, the George Bush, his election campaign is, if anything goes wrong, he can always phone Dad. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yes,
Right. I don't know what the hell to do now. On the economy, read my lips. or shit creek without a hat. But I really wouldn't know who to choose. So Clinton gets a last sort of a last farewell. But
it's very strange, isn't it, how politics now has become. I talking to David about the soap opera he lives, but I mean, the politicians live in a soap opera now.
Well, yeah,
don't they?
I mean, and I don't know what to make of it. I mean,
because of course, has he introduced you into Brooklyn yet?
No, not
This
yet.
will be the next
marriage, shouldn't we? So say, well, maybe not that, but it is because I look down at little Ewan and he's so happy and innocent and popular. And I think, you little bastard, that was me 3 years ago. Yeah. But it is, he does, but politics, it is, I think it's almost a liability now to have a character in politics because, I mean, people do pick up on all of these particular characteristics. I mean, in the old days you used to have the Tony Benns and the Heaths and, they're sort of moving on. And now you've got people like Jeff Hoon and Stephen Byers, rather kind of faceless, rather dull characters. And I think that's precisely because of the attention that I suppose they get from the press and people like me, in a sense. They want to sort of get on with the job. We've seen a change in which the characters of Westminster, I mean, the Alan Clarks.
They've gone.
Yeah, I mean, Alan Clark, it was great. It's like having Leslie Phillips at Westminster. You introduce him to the mayor, says, this is the mayor. Well, hello. Ding dong. But, you couldn't kind of do that.
I mean, Mr. Hague, of course, he's something of a character.
Well,
and a joy for you. And I mean, the interesting thing about Mr. Hague is, again, talking about the soap opera. I mean, here we have a situation, a documentary showing gag writers writing scripts for Mr. Hague.
Well, that's the weird thing, because we sit down when we're doing our show, and it's a comedy show, it's a satirical show, and we sit down and we work out the politics of it. We analyse what's happening and who says what and how it, whether Gordon and Peter are talking to each other and whether Tony likes Peter and Paddy and Tony want to play together, but if they do, then John's going to object and John likes Gordon. But we analyse all that. And none of that would matter if it didn't matter to them, of course. That's the important bit. But while we're doing that, William Hague is sitting there preparing for Prime Minister's Question Time, thinking up jokes.
Yes.
And there was one the other day, these two sausages walk into a pub. And the barman says, we don't serve Frankfurters. And the sausage says, well, I'm afraid you're going to have to, because under Article 7, subsection D of the European Policy on Health and Safety, you'll have to throw away your linkages and buy in cheap produce from Poland. But he's got more relaxed. He's kind of got... I'm not right-wing, I just think we could be in Poland by lunchtime. But he's got
Has he changed?
He has. I think he's
voice
sort of...
changed?
Has he... Well, he's always trying to project confidence, because what one sees in Blair is a certain, lack of confidence, almost. And, he sort of... And so that's why Hague gives us the impression of, I don't care, I'm pissed, me. I've had my 14 pints, and go on, who's next? You're next. But it was extraordinary, because he's developed this kind of expanded voice. And when he was doing a tribute the other day to Donald Dewar, and he'd obviously practiced this in front of the mirror, and and Donald Dewar is... And what was great, it was like watching somebody go down a ski slope, because he went flying off the edge. And he went, and Donald Dewar is redoubt, and he finally latched onto a consonant, sort of swung round it like a pole dancer. You're a redoubtable politician, and he sort of got back in there.
You just made that up.
No,
Like a pole dancer.
Oh, the pole dance. I don't know where that came from.
It's been with your wife backstage.
Were you watching?
She wears yours,
Were you watching, David?
I was, yeah. It was really good. I really enjoyed that.
No, but I meant professionally, from the point of view of doing an impression.
Yeah, well,
Alistair McGowan does a sort of wonderful...
have you seen that,
Yeah.
by the way?
Yeah, very good. It's very good.
Often you wonder, because people always ask you what people make of
Impressions of it. I mean, actually, how do you get on with that one?
No, we was watching it at home one day and we laughed.
Nice.
We did laugh. Yeah. That's one of the better ones.
Just went, Big turn, yes.